Hey, beautiful, and welcome to the Healthy High Podcast. Here we are ditching the drama, dropping those pounds, and stepping boldly into your next level. I'm your girl, Nurse Coach Smith. I am a health development coach on a mission to help African American women just like you heal, grow, and live fully in your power. I have a master's degree in nursing, and I am super duper passionate about holistic health and wellness. So I like to blend science, soul, and sisterhood to guide you through your health journey. And we do that here unapologetically. Okay? So before we dive in, here's a quick heads up. This podcast is all about education and inspiration, but I'm not a doctor, so it's not medical advice. Be sure to consult your doctor or healthcare provider before you make any, and I mean any, changes to your health routine. Okay? Now, if you're ready for real talk, real change, and real results, go ahead, hit that like button, drop those comments, and subscribe so you never ever miss a new episode. And wait. Be sure to connect with me on social media. Just look up Nurse Coach Smith. All right? Now, let's get into it because your next level is waiting. And homegirl, that girl at the next level, she not playing. So I need you to sit back, relax, and let's jump right on in. Hey guys, and welcome to the Healthy High Podcast. I am so excited to be getting back to podcast. I have missed you guys so much. Thank you guys for coming back, for people who are returning. Hello to all of my new people. I have taken like a 2 to 3 year hiatus because you know what, life be lifing, but it doesn't matter. None of that matters. The point is, I am back. And the best part is, I have added the visual component. And y'all like my setup? Y'all like my purple couch? You know purple represents royalty, right? So I had to get on my purple throne. Y'all gonna have to get used to this is how I express myself, okay? I do a lot of hand gestures. So hopefully this will be entertaining. You will be locked in and you will keep coming on back. All right? So every now and then, y'all gonna see me look down because, like, your girl gotta have her iPad with her show notes to keep me on track, okay? Because I could go off on a tangent real quick, and we gotta get to business here, all right? So, previously, when I was podcasting, my goal was to educate the African American community to get better and to get well. My podcast is now kind of shifting a little bit. I want to make sure that I am getting my African American women locked in. That is right. This podcast is officially going to be about getting African American women healthier because we are in a state of health crisis, a state of emergency. African American women, do you hear me? Our health is in a state of emergency. If you hear nothing else from today's episode, hear that. We are in a state of emergency. So I'll get into more about why I've decided to shift my podcast from the African American community as a whole to African American women. Okay. But first, before we get into all of that, I want to break down how I'm going to be doing these podcasts, right? So there are going to be three main components to the podcast. I'm going to try to keep it in order, but sometimes things happen and, we got to all be okay with that. But there will be three main parts of the podcast that's going to be threaded throughout the podcast, right? The first part is going to be the facts. I'm going to give y'all the straight facts. I'm going to give y'all the research. I'm going to give y'all the evidence-based practice. I'm going to give y'all the things that if you wanted to, you can do the research and find it on your own, right? I always recommend that you do the research. Don't always believe everything you see online and on TV, even though, trust me, I will be a credible source when it comes to the facts. Because here's the deal: if you're gonna go look up research and you're gonna go, just see if what I'm saying is accurate. Make sure that you are getting your research from peer review articles, articles that are valid, that have been studied, that have been proven. Don't just go on IG or Facebook and think that you're going to get that information from there and it's accurate. All right. So, first part, you're going to get the facts. The second part is going to be like my thoughts, my personal stories, my struggles, my experience in nursing, in healthcare, and the things that I have seen, right? I'll give you all of that, my insight. I'll tell you all about how I feel about said topic. And then the final part of the podcast is going to be a call to action, right? Because small steps lead to change, and healing is active work. So you have to be doing something. You can't be idle and think you're going to become healthier, you're going to heal, and you're going to grow. And at the end of the day, this is a health development podcast. I want you guys to develop healthier habits. So I got to give you a call to action. All right. So those are the three parts that I'm going to make sure every episode I'm going to be threading throughout the episode: some call to actions, facts, and my thoughts on the topic that we're talking about. That's cool? You got that? All right, cool. So let's get back to the topic at hand, right? Why African American women now? All right. So over my hiatus, I completed my education as a master's prepared nurse. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let me not say I've completed, to be continued, but I am officially a master prepared nurse. I'm not sure if I'm complete with my education yet, but I am officially a master's prepared nurse. And I got my master's in something called population health, right? And I feel like now that I have completed there's some obligations that I have, right? So it's my responsibility to take a bird's eye view, right, of healthcare and how healthcare is going and the needs of healthcare. And then it's my responsibility to identify high risk populations or high risk communities. Once I can identify those high risk communities, I then need to figure out how to take action to better support those communities' health outcomes, right? You with me? I hope so. All right. So now that I've gotten all of that out the way, here's why I have chosen African American women specifically. So I'm going to give y'all some facts. Y'all going to see me reading off of my iPad. So I'm going to be looking down. All right. So Black Americans face higher rates of chronic disease. Now, before I continue with the facts, let me just tell you where my train of thought was going with this. I wanted to identify a high risk community, right? So I went to do the research and I said, okay, my question was, who in America is the most sick? What race in America, what population, what community is the most sick, right? Then once I discovered that, I said, okay, well, what gender is more sick? Is it male? Is it female? So here's what I found. Black Americans face higher rates of chronic disease, right? They also have a lower life expectancy than our white counterparts. The Journal of American Medical Association study told me that over 20 years, 1.6 million excess deaths are in Black Americans. Okay? 80 plus million potential years of life is lost that don't need to be in African American communities. That's crazy. Okay. Now, when I started researching, well, who's more sick? Is it females? Is it males? And it wasn't like black females, black males. It was just like in general, right? No matter race, it didn't matter. Women or men. You guessed it. women are much more sick with chronic conditions than men, right? So when I put the two together, I said, wait, hold on. African American women, we are in a state of emergency. You have got to get back on this podcast and get African American women all the way together, okay? Because we are dying like crazy. We have these chronic diseases. And I think what really hurts me the most is that these chronic conditions, they are definitely preventable. And so many of them are reversible, but we just don't have the knowledge and we don't have what we need, right, to be able to be healthier. I think a lot of us believe that if we're eating right and if we're exercising, that we are healthy. And I have learned over the past 3 years, okay, that that is so far from the truth. We have to focus on a bigger picture to our health. We have to focus on our mind, on our body, on our spirit. There is so much different components that we're going to be talking about throughout this podcast to aid in health development, because this is a health development podcast. And it's my goal to get this specific high risk community better health outcomes. Now, I'm not saying my bros can't come in and gain information and knowledge on how to be healthier. I'm not saying that no other race can't come on my podcast and take a watch or listen and learn something. I welcome everyone, but just know that this podcast is going to be catered to African American women and our needs and our culture, because I have identified that this specific community is a high risk community and we need better outcomes, a state of emergency. Okay? So that's just my reasoning. I wanted to give you guys my reasoning and my why behind why I'm choosing to educate and provide this space specifically for African American women. And you know what? Honestly, because we're such nurturers, I do feel that the more I educate and help African American women get better and healthier, they will in return make sure their kids are healthier, make sure their spouses or their significant other is healthier. They will make sure that the people in their inner circle are healthier. And you, my beautiful queen, will then help me get our community to be healthier. So I'm not abandoning the community. I'm just picking the person, the people in our community that are in a state of emergency. All right. So African American women are in health crisis for many reasons. Some reasons we can control, right? And some reasons feel like it is so far out of our control. So what are those reasons? The reasons that many feel are out of our control is our deep rooted past traumas, right? Poor access to healthcare and systemic racism or systemic barriers that contribute to our poor health. And yes, I know those things feel like there's nothing we can do about that and we can't change that, right? That doesn't have anything to do with us. But I want to change the narrative of that. I want to change our mindset around thinking that there's nothing that we can do about those situations. There's always something that we can do. And I don't want us to be victims at all. I want us to be able to gain the knowledge we need and see how we can work around to make sure that our health is ultimately improving and better. All right. So, some things that we actually can control, right, is that we just sometimes have lack of education, which is why the Healthy High podcast exists. Lack of education, lack of awareness, lack of support, needing guidance, having loving accountability, right? And just having a space that's culturally sensitive to your needs. These are some of the reasons that's within our control. And we can work without any help, right? To make our health better. We cannot make these things an excuse anymore. I'm going to repeat this over and over because I need y'all to get this. Black women, our health is in a state of emergency. We have to start doing something. Our friends are dying at 30s and 40s. They're dropping dead. They're having heart attacks. They're, being diagnosed with chronic illnesses. We've got to do something. We've got to do better. All right. So I'm about to start wrapping this episode up because I'm going to try my best to keep our episodes less than, I'm going to say 30 minutes. I'm going to say 20 to 30 minutes because I'm not going to lie. The world we live in now, we living in a microwave popcorn society. We want things quick. And I ain't gonna hold you, okay? When I listen to some podcasts, if it gets too long and too winded, I go somewhere else. And this is so important that I need you to stay tapped in, okay? Tapped in the whole episode. So I'm going to give it to you in 20, 30-minute increments. I'm going to give it to you digestible. And I'm going to give it to you in a way that, again, you can relate. You can make the small changes. All right. And another thing that I got to mention, health development doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen in the blink of an eye. So let me prepare you now. Okay? It's going to take time to develop healthier habits. It's going to take time. I'll be honest with you. I personally have been on a health journey for probably 10 or more years. And just when I think I got it down pat, there's something new that I need to learn about myself, about my health, whatever the case may be. So understand that this journey is for the long haul. This is not something that you just going, I'm going to pop on this podcast and then in like a month or so, all's going to be well. That ain't it, sis. You got to be patient. Like, we're patient with everyone else, but we're not patient with ourselves. Why is that? Why is it that we are caring so much about everyone else, but we're not caring about ourselves? We could take the time to, I don't know, spend 30 minutes cooking for our families to eat while we can't listen to a 30-minute podcast so that we can feed our souls, right? So we're going to, that's all right though. That's all right. We're going to change that narrative. We're going to talk about all of that and we're going to get you guys healthier. All right. Y'all ready for the call to action? All right. So I need you guys to reflect. So I need you to pause, sis. Just take a breath and reflect and think to yourself, really, where am I with my health? Where am I? Am I surviving or just thriving? Am I not surviving at all? Am I having like aches and pains and I want to lose this weight and I just got diagnosed? Like, where are you? We identify where are you on your health journey, right? Reflect on where you want to be. Where do you see yourself in a year on your health journey? What would make this journey the best journey for you? What do you want to see improvement? Just take a minute right after this podcast and don't even say, all right, I'm going to do it when I get around to it. Right after this podcast ends, sit down with yourself. I know it's uncomfortable. All right. I had to learn over these past couple of years that I needed to sit down. And let me tell you something, it felt really weird. I felt like, oh my God, am I being lazy? I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be doing. You got to learn. You with my podcast, let me tell you now, you got to learn to be uncomfortable. Okay? Because that's where change comes in those spaces of uncomfortability. So sometimes I'm gonna give you call to actions that's uncomfortable. That's okay. Just do it anyway. Be uncomfortable. Be okay with being uncomfortable. All right? Deal? All right. So you got to sit down, sis, and just do a reflection. Reflection on your life, reflection on your health, reflection on your mind, your body, your spirit. Just reflect where you want to be, how you feeling. And maybe you might need to journal how that comes up for you, what shows up for you as you sit still in silence and reflect on your health and where you would like to see yourself. All right, that's a must. That's mandatory. Everybody got to do that. That's a mandatory call to action. All right? All right. Some optional call to actions. And let me tell you something, I will give out tons of call to actions. You don't have to do everyone. As a matter of fact, do not do everyone because that becomes very overwhelming. When it comes to health development, we got to take it in small bits and pieces, small increments, and you will be so surprised at how so much small steps lead to such a grandiose change. You'll look back in a year and you'll say, dang, I've changed so much, or my health has improved so much. And it started with me making a conscious, intentional decision to drink 2 cups of water per day, right? Sounds simple, but it ends up being something major. All right. So here's some simple call to actions that you can also do or not. The first one is mandatory. These are just some little extra stuff that you can do. Drink more water. Okay. Exercise. Make that doctor's appointment. You know, the one that you've been saying, I'm a call when I get to it. Oh my God, I worked all day. Then the kid, make the doctor's appointment. Okay. All right. Some other ones. Take 10 minutes to breathe. Journal. Find a book that you can read that's going to facilitate your growth. So those are some call to actions that you could start doing or think about. And again, I will always give multiple call to actions because I want to welcome everybody to this podcast. People that have believe that they have really poor health and people that believe that their health is top notch. You could fall anywhere along the line and still be able to come here and receive information that's digestible, that can help you and that can help you improve because health is not a race. It is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It keeps going and go like the Duracell battery. Keep going and going and going. All right? All right. We're going to get ready to wrap this all up. We're going to get ready to close out. But if you are feeling called to grow, but you need support and you need community, you are in the right space. I get it. It's not easy to develop healthier habits, especially when we have been doing certain things. We've been eating them ham hocks, okay, for our whole life. It's not easy for me to just tell you, stop eating the ham hocks and you won't just stop eating the ham hocks. I get it. And ham hocks might be far fetched for some, but you get it. It's like you've been practicing and doing these behaviors for all these years. So changing it is going to be difficult. You will need the support, and you are in the right spaces. All you got to do is come back week after week and press that play button and listen and be intentional about your health journey. But we're gonna work through all of that. Stay tuned for real talk and guidance because I want this podcast to be a space where we are healing, growing, vibing with intention and repeat. Because, like I said to you earlier, just when I think I'm healthy, something else comes up and I got to go back to the beginning. I got to start healing again. I got to start growing again and vibing. And then something else happens and we repeat in the cycle. So, this is a space, right, that you will be able to heal, grow, and vibe. So, I hope to see you guys next week. And listen, if there is something that we talk about in the podcast that you don't understand, or you have more questions, or you want me to talk more about, leave it in the comments. If you don't feel comfortable leaving it in the comments, because some things are just personal, send me an email at thehealthyhighpodcast@gmail.com. I will get to your emails. I'll reach out to you. I will call you if you leave me a number, because this work is important to me. This is what I feel like God has called me to do, and I am here to do it, and I'm here to do the work. So reach out to me if you need additional help and support. I am here for you. And don't forget to follow me on all socials at Nurse Coach Smith so you can see my day-to-day activities. I post things that I do every day. I post maybe foods that I'm eating, give you some ideas. So hit me up on any social media platform, and yeah, at Nurse Coach Smith. I think that's my Nurse Coach Smith. And that's it. You do not have to figure this out alone. All right. I am here for you, sis. And listen, I'm not perfect. And I am on this journey with you as well. I'm just here to share with you my knowledge, the things that I've gone through, and what I've learned being a nurse for 15 plus years. And one more thing before we close out. This is me going on a tangent. This is why I got to hold myself accountable to my notes. But if you want to learn more about me and about my history in healthcare, take it on back. Take it on back. Take it on back to the very, very first episode. It is audio only, though, for my newcomers. But take it on back and hear me talk about what all the work that I've done in healthcare for 15 plus years. All right. So remember, we healing, we growing, we vibing, and repeating. All right. Until next time, I'll see you. Peace out.